in the hell is going on with my hair? Wow, I look like a rooster. That's pretty cool. Hello friends, I'm gonna level with you. This whole video is a complete fuck up. I've been trying to make this make sense. I've been reshooting. It ain't working. I think if you're gonna watch this, watch it because A, you find me mildly amusing, or B, you want to see how poorly this can go. Really, the one takeaway you should have here: never take off your Fender flares. Just never do it. Never. Okay, now you can watch the video. Hello friends! So today we're going to do a little putting stuff back together. Let's for a second pretend you're an idiot and there's been a sound in the back of your truck for the past 6, 7, 12 months and it's been driving you crazy. You finally decide to tackle it. And you know it comes from this part of the truck, so you take off the inner fender, and that makes sense. But because you don't understand the inner fender is not connected to the fender flare, you take off the fender flare too for no apparent reason. Now this is a pain in the ass to put back together because unlike on the Gen 2s, this has a strip of double-sided tape on the top. Some might say finding this double-sided tape is near impossible. You'll notice here it is very, very narrow. I think it's 1/8 of an inch. I'll put it up here if I got it wrong. So anyway, today we're going to be putting this fender flare back on there so it doesn't look terrible anymore. I've got some parts ordered from the Amazons. I've got some double-sided tape that's kind of the same thing. Let's see how I go. Alright, so thankfully Amazon sells a packet with all the little plastic bits you'll need. This has got a whole slew of, all three of them, right? The orange ones and blue ones are for the fender flare, and the black ones are for the inner liner. So we're going to go ahead and do the inner liner first here. You're going to take these pieces, like this, and you're going to put them in all these square holes in the fender flare. Or, I keep calling it a fender flare. It's not a fender flare, it's something else. And these will in turn, around here on the inside of the well, you have a bunch of square little pegs, and that's where these all plug in. So it is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, possibly 10. Yeah, 10. The 10 goes on the back there. And then we have 4 bolts, so easy peasy.
Yeah, see, there I went and jinxed myself. This is going to get worse before it gets better.
Alright, on further reflection, this, let's see if I can get this to focus, is actually what goes in the back, not the screw. And I actually have some replacements for that. I'm not sure if you can see these. But they didn't come in that pack.
To clarify, those pegs go in those holes. This video's a disaster.
Of course, now I'm thinking, where the hell did the screws go? Because I got no idea. Pretty sure I did something wrong. Alright, as per my normal motif, I'm doing this all wrong. Still have no idea where those screws go.
Now I'm going to stop myself right here to point out I have already screwed up in 2 ways. 1, I didn't properly label my parts, and 2, I waited way too long to put this back together after tearing it apart, and I forgot how it came apart. I know better, and yet here we are.
Which is exceptionally frustrating. So that needs to go on top. Unless, do these screw in? Oh, I think that might be it. I'm going to look it up to make sure. But I think what happens is you pin all these in, and then you take these 4 screws, because I think that's how many I need, and then you screw in the fender flare into them. That would actually make a lot of sense. Hey, so I wanted to explain how the whole pin and screw situation works. So hopefully this is in focus, but as you can see, this is one of the pins. It's got the little pinch points on the side here. This slams into the side of the car, this truck, vehicle, motorhome. This plastic rim here, this is what holds the inner fender liner in, and then when you come to put the fender flare on, these screws like this just screw into these, and that's how you get 2 points of grabbing. I have a bunch of these screws laying around now because I got myself some new fender, some new mud flaps, so I don't need them anymore. So if you need some spares, I got some. All right, so you see we have here, and then if I put this on top, we've got a hole. So there's 4 of those. There's actually one. Am I pointing this correctly? There's actually 3 here. They're easy to find. And then I've got another 3 down here. And on my other side, it's missing the screw altogether. I'm guessing it's the bottom one, so that's what we're going to go with. All right, so now that we have the inner fender, whatever it's called, mounted, we're going to go ahead. We need to clean off this goop here. We've already cleaned, I have already cleaned all of the goop off of the body of the truck itself, but we'll give that one more spray down. And then we should be able to mount this stupid thing. Okay, what I'm doing is spraying down the double-sided tape here with this dissolving solution. You don't want to use the plastic because it's not sharp enough. You don't want to use the razor blade because it'll cut more than you want. So I'm just going to use the regular metal one here. And as long as you let it soak enough, it should come off pretty easily. The soaking is the trick though. You just got to leave it alone for 10 minutes. I noticed with the truck I had to do multiple runs just because you take off the top layer and then you have to dissolve the next layer. And you got to wear gloves because this stuff is awful. It will never come off of anything. Alright, once we get all the gunk cleaned off, or at least suppressed, I don't think it needs to be super clean. We're going to clean off the gunk cleaner.
Yeah, it turned out we needed to get all the solvent off there in order to get the tape to actually stick. So spraying it off with water, and then we dry it in the sun for a while.
And then we're going to apply the tape. Okay, so the tape I have here is the right thickness, or I'm sorry, the right width. It's a 1/2 inch, or 1/4 inch, sorry.
Once it's all dry, carefully applying the tape.
All right, let's talk about what I've done. So I cleaned off this thing, the flair. I dried it and applied the tape. This is actually this is the 1 1/4. I think maybe 1 1/8 would have been better. I actually have that. I think what was on there was 1 1/4, but I think in reapplying 1 1/8, because there's a little bit of overhang on the underside there, but it's not really a big deal. I think either one will work. I've also put all the buttons in here. I believe this is the correct order: blue, orange, blue, blue, orange, blue, 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 orange, blue. The problem is that these things kind of shift back and forth a little bit. And I don't know if they will match up to the holes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the tape here, take that one off completely, and then just start it over here, because it should be, once I get it mounted, I should be able to slide that back side off without issue. But we're almost there, so let's see how this goes. Oh, that works surprisingly well. Alright, let's do this then. Be careful. Oh, damn it. It ripped. That's not what we want at all. Rah. Now what do I do?
The answer was to pull off the other side and then start the tape over there, which took way too much time.
Okay. Try some spaces in there.
Alright, so what I ended up doing here is using the pry bar to give me some space to pull the paper off the tape.
Alright. This tape.
It ended up working pretty well, a lot better than not doing that, because the paper promptly ripped. So I suggest doing it this way.
Lift, pull a little. 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 Good enough. That doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Huzzah! Okay, so there is a pretty good gap here at the top. I'm not sure if I did this right. But at this point I don't really care anymore. I'm going to put a screw in there, screw in there, screw in there, and one of these gets a screw. I don't know which one, because on the other side none of them do, but all I'm doing is screwing into the top of these things, these pieces like this, and then that's done. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm sorry. Anyway, it all worked out fine in the end. It's been on there for 2 weeks. The tape seems to be fine. The clips all seem to be fine. Nothing seems to be moving around. I've hit some mud. It didn't cause any problems. So, as awful as this video is, and as awful as my process was, it all seemed to work out in the end. So, yay? I don't know. The next video will be better, I swear. Sorry.